Tonight, we rejoice in our shared faith and heritage and celebrate the achievements of Leadership 100 and the excellence of outstanding members of our community. We are truly blessed to have among us. We will proceed with our program, and now I ask my friend, my brother, and my hero, Mr. Mike Psaros, to please come forward to introduce our keynote speaker, Admiral James Stavridis. Thank you.
Your Eminence, Metropolitan Savas of Pittsburgh, Your Eminence, Metropolitan Nicholas of Detroit, Reverend Presbyters and Presbyteres, most distinguished Brother Archons of the Order of St. Andrew, members of Leadership 100 and honored guests, brothers and sisters in Christ. I have the great honor of introducing our keynote speaker, Admiral James Stavridis, Dean of the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University. Admiral Stavridis had a truly remarkable and distinguished career in the United States Navy after graduating from the United States Naval Academy in 1976. For more than 30 years, he commanded aircraft carriers, cruisers, and destroyers in combat, winning awards for his inspirational leadership. He rose to become commander of the United States Southern Command, and from 2009 to 2013 served as the Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, Thaumasu. Admiral Stavridis has received medals and decorations from our own country, the United States, and from 28 foreign nations. What is truly notable about the Admiral is his strategic thinking, which has put him in positions at the center of power in our own country and the world. His naval career, his published works, his academic achievements, and his academic leadership have made him one of the most influential leaders of our time. I admire how he proudly writes and speaks about his Greek heritage and his Greek papu, who fled oppression like so many of our papudes. On a very personal level, Admiral, I do not think I have ever met anyone so accomplished who is so genuinely humble. And if you read the Admiral's books on leadership, humility and respect are one of his central values. And, Admiral, as a member of the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I'm proud to say that the Admiral's daughter is a recent graduate of Georgetown University and a fellow Hoya, and she is currently the next generation of the Stavridis family, serving her nation honorably in the United States Navy. We should all reflect on how much we owe men and women like Admiral Stavridis, who have devoted their lives to the defense of our freedom. On behalf of all of us, Admiral, we thank you for your remarkable and distinguished service, and to you we say, Axios. I present to you our distinguished honoree, Admiral James Stavridis. Good evening. It's wonderful to be here with all of you tonight, and I want to begin by simply thanking the Leadership 100 and making the point that I'm actually from Miami, so it's great to be in my hometown again and have a chance to be in this marvelous Greek community together. So many friends in the audience tonight. I can't really go through and name everybody, but I do want to thank particularly our outgoing president here, George, Michael Soros, and above all the Beharakis family, who are close friends in the Boston area and have contributed so much to the Greek American community and to Greece itself. It's terrific to be with all of you. I was talking to the Metropolitan a moment ago, who I thought gave a great blessing. We're all going to bubble over with joy any moment. I will tell you that I am bubbling over with joy to be at this event tonight. And above all, he told me the normal length of speech
for an event like this is about 2.5 hours. So I hope you're all comfortable. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves. I hear a lot of enjoyment from that corner of the room over there. One thing that's great about the Greek American community is our kids go with us everywhere, and I'm sure there are a lot of them who are here with us tonight. What I'd like to talk about tonight may surprise you. I think it says in the program that I'm going to talk about 21st century security, and I will. But I want to tell you what I think is the most important antidote we have to the security challenges we face. And it's not massive aircraft carriers. It's not battle tanks. It is not legions of foot soldiers. The most important quality we have, and we embody it as a Greek American community, is education. Education. So how do I arrive at that? Let me start by answering a question I get a lot, which is, okay, you spent 35 years in the U.S. Navy, and at the end of that service 4 years ago, I tried to think, what should I do next? And I asked a lot of mentors, and they all had a plan for Stavridis. And the plan was go to Wall Street, work in private equity, or go run a big defense company, or run a multinational company. And none of that felt right. And I turned to the Secretary of Defense, Robert Gates, who's one of my great life mentors. And I said, Mr. Secretary, what do you think I ought to do next? He was the only one who asked me a question. He said, well, Jim, what kept you in the military for 35 years? Why did you stay in the military? Maybe that will tell you what you want to do next. And I had to think about that. You know, there was a lot that I liked about being in the Navy. I like going out to sea on ships and being a mariner. I like wearing snappy uniforms. I like defending my country. I like the adventure of traveling the world. I like all those things. But what I loved about military service was the chance to mentor young people, to help educate them, to guide the trajectory of their lives. So I said that to Secretary Gates, and he said, sounds like education, Jim. And we forget this about Secretary Gates. He was famously the director of the CIA, famously the Secretary of Defense. What did he do in the middle for 10 years? He was the president of Texas A&M. He was an educator. So that's how I started this journey 4 years ago into education. Became the dean at the Fletcher School at Tufts University. And I've spent the last almost 5 years studying the international world and looking at the challenges we face today. The number one challenge we face today globally is not the Islamic State, it's not the rise of China, it's not an aggressive Russia, it's not North Korea's nuclear weapons. Those are all concerns. The greatest concern we have is global poverty, followed by climate change, followed by the possibility of a pandemic. And my friends, you can drop a plumb line from those challenges, poverty, climate change, creating droughts, melting Arctic ice, all of the soft power challenges are what underlie the hard power challenges we face. Where do you think the Islamic State comes from? It emerges because of poverty, lack of opportunity, harsh conditions. There's a religious component, certainly, but at the end of the day, so many of these movements are generated by exogenous factors that we could address effectively with education. When I look around the world today, I am absolutely convinced that education, because it's a gateway to opportunity, is how we can address these challenges. Not entirely. Do we still need hard power at times? Yes. but that education driving opportunity is the solution to so many things internationally and here in our own country as well. The Greek American community knows this better than any other community. I will tell you, as I look at how we all educate our own children, how we support education throughout the country, how we support it back in Greece. I always say Greek mothers were tiger moms before tiger moms were cool. Our kids, yeah, and how about a round of applause for all the Greek tiger moms in the audience here, by the way. Our kids go to Greek school. We sit around the kitchen table working on their homework. We're at the virtual kitchen table with them online. We invest in sending our children to the very best schools. That's why our community punches so enormously above its weight in American society. We are a living example of the premise that education underlies so many of the answers to the challenges that we face. So let me tell you very quickly 4 things we can do to support education. And they're very simple at a certain level. But I'd ask you to listen to these as we get ready to have a marvelous dinner tonight and enjoy each other's company. The first is the one I alluded to already. It is education within our own homes. It is parents, brothers and sisters, papus and yayas, our uncles and aunts, all of us as families, making sure our children receive the strongest and the best education. And part of that is contributing and participating in local schools. You know the saying, all politics are local. All education in the end is local. Be good educators in your own home. Secondly, think hard politically and support candidates who support education. And that's not a blue or a red thing. There are Republicans who are strong on education. There are Democrats who are strong on education. Find them, reward them, move them in our system, because those are the people we want leading the country. Third thing, educate yourself. Read, contemplate, exchange ideas. By your own building of intellectual capital, you are part of the fabric of education in this nation. Your education is lifelong. No matter your age, take a course, learn a language, go online and take a massive online course, a MOOC. They're free. You can study the history of Alexander the Great and watch lectures from marvelous professors online for free. Continue with that self-education. And lastly, pay attention to innovation in education. What is happening online, the movement of the world's knowledge to your cell phone, is an extraordinary advancement. How can you tap into that? How can you use that innovation technology to build more education? Those are 4 small things that are a prescription. And I want to wrap up. We talked a moment ago about the importance of service to our country. And Michael, thank you. People say that to me a lot these days. Thank you for your service. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. But let me tell you something. There are so many ways to serve this country. Policemen, firemen, Peace Corps volunteers, those who work in clinics in inner cities, volunteers at every level, and above all, when I meet a teacher, a public school teacher, a private school teacher, a teacher, I say thank you for your service. Teachers are not well compensated. They work hard, especially in our elementary schools. And every day they serve this country. So I ask you, as you go back to your gorgeous communities across this country, feel free to thank teachers. And think for a moment, this moment, about the best teacher you ever had and how that man or woman shaped your life. That's the value of education. So to wrap up, because all Greek speeches, thank you. On behalf of teachers, thank you. I assume you're applauding the end of the speech, which is normally how these things go. Because all Greek speeches are required to have one word in them. They're all required to have the word philotimo. I would argue that the heart of philotimo, that indefinable quality of loyalty and respect, of honor, is not a quality that you are born with. It is a quality that you learn in the course of your life. And that is education. Your lives are built on education. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Admiral. That was incredibly inspiring, and we are truly honored to have you with us. And now His Eminence Metropolitan Nicholas is joining me with Mike Psaros as we honor you with the Archbishop Yakovos Award for Excellence. Thank you, Axios. As we bring our conference to a close, I want to thank each and every one of you for your heartfelt support as I conclude my chairmanship. I was privileged to follow in the footsteps of the exceptional men who have served in that role before me, with special appreciation to my predecessor, Charles Kotras, as well as to benefit from the sure foundation laid by our founders, our beloved Arthur Anton and Peter Dion, who are with us tonight. God bless them. I am grateful to the wisdom and insight of our revered Archbishop and respected metropolitans, to the men and the women with whom I have served these past 4 years on the Executive Committee, the Board of Trustees, the committees, the Executive Committee, and my God, our beloved Paulette Poulos. And the entire Leadership 100 staff. They are truly servants of God. I will forever treasure this time as truly a gift from God to serve Him and to serve you as we put our values into action into this extraordinary organization we call Leadership 100. Now, Agiri Vasiliou, please come forward. I am thrilled to introduce you to your new chairman, Agiri Vasiliou. A true friend. RJ is an engineer and business leader. He heads 2 family-owned companies. He is a graduate of some of the finest schools in this nation, Stuyvesant High School, Cooper Union, and Princeton University. But he is first and foremost a family man, devoted to his beloved wife Anne and their 2 children, Nicholas and Alexandra, who are both with us tonight. He is a person of the highest integrity and commitment to our church and community, and I am thrilled and pleased to pass the torch of leadership to him. Thank you.
You're in the middle.
Thank you, Your Eminence, and thank you, George, for your kind words. I would like to acknowledge my wife, Anne, my daughter, Alexandra, and my son, Nicholas. I truly appreciate my family being here this evening and this entire weekend with me. Like George, I recognize the foundation laid at Leadership 100 by our founders and our chairman emeriti. Institutional continuity is essential for future growth. It reminds us of our seriousness of purpose and our support of our church. and our responsibility and accountability. Over its 34 years of existence, Leadership 100, like all institutions and our individual lives, has had to maneuver in dramatically changing times. We managed to do so because of our unity of purpose and those eternal goalposts of our faith and our heritage. I look forward to serving in this leadership role, fully aware that I'm in the company of many outstanding leaders. Thank you very much.
Good evening, and it's true, we're almost done, but not quite. I greet you this evening on behalf of our Archbishop, on behalf of the members of the Eparchial Synod. My brother, Metropolitan Savas, is here. The clergy are here. We stand as that kind of prayerful aspect of the church, and we thank you. To Admiral Stavridis, who spoke today about education, an underlying component of all that is good, I would ask that as we have learned from Peter Dion and Arthur Anton, as we have learned from Mr. Tsandikos, as we will learn from Mr. How do you want to be called? RJ. He didn't want the name. RJ. As we shall learn from Mr. RJ, but as you and I are called to do even now, we are here and we are called to teach. The Admiral spoke about education, and the first education begins at home. He knows that. I know that. Love and respect for parents, for this country, love and respect for our forebears and where we have come from, love and respect for the neighbor next door, so that in our heart we are called to do what is right. And as Christians, that's what we're called to do. It's not about us, it's about our neighbor. We recognize that the Lord himself came and took on our form and gave his blood. He gave of himself. And you in Leadership 100 know what it means to give of yourself, because you have done that in an extraordinary manner to help ensure that the ministries and the outreach of this holy church will be fulfilled. You know what it means to give. And I extend, on behalf of His Eminence and of all of our hierarchs and clergy, our thanks and appreciation. Because giving is so important. Sometimes we run around and wondering, what are we going to get? No. What are we going to give? And it starts at home learning. It continues in class. It continues in university. It continues in the military. It continues wherever we are, where we are taught to do what is right and good and noble and just. Leadership 100 is one of those vehicles that does what is good and right and noble and just. In welcoming you again on behalf of His Eminence our Archbishop, who because of changes in schedule could not be here this evening, and on behalf of my brother Metropolitan Savas, who is here with us, and of all the clergy, on behalf of Leadership 100 leadership, we say to you, thank you, because you too have become teachers for us, teachers who witness to what is good and true and noble and just. Having said that, I hope you dance your hearts out. God bless you.